We're big fans of Dr. Joe Dispenza on this channel. You might remember a few months ago, we made a few videos about his book, You Are the Placebo, and covered his research and findings on just how powerful we truly are. If you haven't heard of him, he's a renowned researcher and New York Times bestseller, famous for his groundbreaking work on the mind-body connection. Over the past 14 years, he's been diving deep into transcendent healing and demonstrating the power of thought and belief and how it can shape our health and influence our lives in all kinds of profound ways. And his findings are getting harder to ignore in the mainstream. People are really starting to wake up to this stuff, and it's a pretty big deal. So recently, I learned that Hathor Studios and Inner Science Research Fund are releasing a new movie called Source, a breakthrough documentary where a high-level team of scientists from the University of California, San Diego, conducted very thorough experiments and research to explore the effects of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. And the film is amazing. Someone on their marketing team reached out to me to ask if I was interested in doing an advanced screening so that I could help share the message of the film when it launched. I couldn't say no. The film is quite profound. They introduce a bunch of scientists who were incredibly skeptical of Joe's work and the results that they were getting. These industry-level doctors and scientists were like, no way. There's no way that you saw a cancer patient completely reduce their disease in just 1 week through meditation. And so they put together this team of scientists to get involved and monitor exactly what was happening to these people inside their body going through Dr. Joe's retreats. Through the film, we see the testimony of a number of people with very severe issues, and the scientists are exploring and watching what happens to participants in one of Dr. Joe's retreats on a neurophysiological level while monitoring their cellular health through their body. And what they found was that there were certain proteins that grow in your cells while you meditate. This was another one of those points that kept blowing the scientists away. Just by meditating, they were seeing the body naturally creating this biological marker that would actually repel diseases from being able to enter the cells. How amazing. It's pretty cool to see a bunch of very skeptical scientists suddenly do a 180 on their viewpoint and start to acknowledge that what is happening is real based on the scientific evidence they gathered themselves. Of course, there are some places where they have to bridge only into theory because some things are not entirely measurable yet as far as modern science goes. We don't have any tools to measure consciousness, but what Dr. Joe's team puts forth is the same thing we've been talking about on this channel forever, that matter is informed by the energetic field and that the field itself is made up of consciousness, thoughts, emotional energy, and other subtle cosmic vibrations. They postulate that if we can affect the field by going within and creating strong psychophysiological coherence, the outer material body naturally conforms to that inner state, and we effortlessly become healthy. This is, of course, nothing new. It's what mystics have been describing for, well, thousands of years. I mean, just read the Bhagavad Gita if you don't believe me. But what's especially powerful and amazing about Joe's groups is the demonstration of collective coherence. Have you ever seen that experiment where someone takes like 100 metronomes and puts them on a surface that can move just a tiny bit, and then they turn on all the metronomes at a completely random interval? Well, what happens every time is that the metronomes will all slowly conform from their chaos state into a state of coherence with each other. This is a consistently demonstrated phenomenon, and the same thing seems to apply to us. People in mass conform to each other like a collective field, and in these mass meditations, people experience strong inner coherent states from the collective intention of thought, emotion, and consciousness all together at once. You can just imagine what that means for like densely populated areas. Maybe the reason that some places are really grungy or low vibing is because of the collective consciousness that exists there and keeps themselves there by the continued existence of participating in that field. It's also why that if you go out into some beautiful field somewhere, you just naturally feel open and expansive and refreshed because the energy of that environment is amazing. Joe really affirms all of this in the movie too. He says this amazing thing a few times throughout, how when we stay in the same pattern of thinking and the same patterns of behavior, we collectively stay in the same environment and reality, and nothing ever changes. People want change, but in order to see change, we have to change ourselves first. And it turns out that heightened positive states of emotion, like profound levels of joy, has one of the strongest effects on our body of consciousness, offering healing to ourselves and even protection against diseases. So anyways, I can't talk enough about this movie, but I have to let it speak for itself. And so here is the best part. For this next weekend only, September 27th through the 29th, everyone is invited to watch the movie in 16 languages for free. So please tell your friends, gather your family, and host a Source watch party. I think that's a very good idea because it creates a collective mass coherence between everyone who is watching the film together, right? Over the weekend, there will also be additional free content featuring Dr. Joe and the scientists diving deeper into the material of the film. You and your friends can sign up to reserve your seat by using the link in the video description, or by clicking this card, or on the end screen of this video. And now, without further ado, here's the trailer. Please enjoy the movie and come back to the comment thread once you've seen it to let us know what you thought.
The majority of people function in a state of stress, in a state of survival.
We use Western medicine and it does a bunch of things for us, but something's missing.
My name is Joe Dispenza. I run an organization called Encephalon. We teach people the neuroscience and the biology of how to change, how to transform.
How would I design a study that could capture any signal that meditation has on the body?
Red flags went off. How sciencey could that be?
There was tremolo in his voice. He said, dude, we have an effect. There is an effect of meditation, and we can measure it.
For the first time in the history of meditation studies, a group of scientists have discovered something really profound that's happening inside someone's body when they apply this formula.
What we're doing is we are quantifying how powerful the mind is.
We apply the same protocols to run pharmaceutical study.
We have data to suggest and evidence to suggest that you're changing.
Their brains look like people who have been meditating for decades. I've never seen data like this.
Whatever these individuals did was able to change the biology of a cancer cell in a dish.
By the end of that meditation, I didn't need the wheelchair at all.
He said, Charlie, there's no cancer. There was nothing, was zero, absent.
Our data suggests 75% cause and effect.
It was like having a second chance at life.
I want to be part of that community that believes in possibility, that believes we're greater than we think, more unlimited than we could ever dream. And all I offer people is my greatest understanding of the truth.
We have just scratched the surface. This is just the beginning to understanding our human potential.